Hi, I'm Becky from Retro From Scratch and I'm here to help you today. If you have forgotten to get someone a card, I'm going to show you how to make one using something that you've got at home. This is really easy. You don't need anything fancy, just a pair of scissors, some old packaging, and I'm even going to show you what to do if you haven't got glue. So keep watching. Let's make that card for your loved one. First of all, let's talk Amazon packaging. So there are different types. You've got your corrugated cardboard type, which is quite thick. Ideally, you don't want this one. So I'm going to get rid of that. Now, there's this one, which came the other day, and I love it because it is corrugated, but it's corrugated paper. Then you get the paper bag. This is a brilliant way of recycling. And then the other type of Amazon packaging you can get are these cardboard envelopes. And so we're going to use these as our base for the cards. I just want to make this clear that this is not sponsored by Amazon, although I am using lots of Amazon packaging. It just happens to be that I have bought quite a bit from Amazon and I have a lot of Amazon packaging lying around, and you probably do too. So that's why I'm using it. I've also got an envelope, and if you look inside the envelopes, you'll actually see they've got some really lovely patterns, so we might be able to do something with that. I'm going to show you how to make 3 different cards. Okay, first thing you want to do is take off as many stickers as you can off of your envelope. So pick the sides away like this, or just using a pair of scissors, cut. Now, I'm not going to use anything fancy here, because I want you to be able to do this yourself at home with just the basic supplies. So now we have a nice bit of card. I'm going to fold this over so it's inside out. All of this is going to be on the inside. I'll peel this bit off. Don't want that. It's a bit, oh, it's sticky. Anyway, get as much of that off as we can. So we've kind of got a flattish surface. This is like really rubbery, the glue that they've used on this. There we go. And get under that glue. There. If you want to make it neater, then by all means use a ruler and a pencil. But if you haven't got time for that, or you haven't got a ruler and a pencil, then just go in with the scissors. It's absolutely fine. I'm going to try and make mine a little bit neat. So I am going to use a ruler, and I'm just going to make it so that it's sort of a more normal card size. So I think let's go 12 centimetres. And then how tall do I want it? About that tall. So there's a ridge here, so I'm just going to cut that bit off. So I'll be going along there, and then let's make it 16 centimetres high. So we're doing 12 by 16, but you can do whatever size you like. And then I'm just going to cut through both layers together. If this is a bit hard for you, I'm using nice big scissors. Now, bigger scissors equals more likely to get a straighter line. That's a good tip for you there. If that's too thick, then just do the top piece like this, and then so you just cut this top piece. And then you can open that back up and then draw the line there, and then just cut the bottom piece. Like so. Now we're just going to cut this bottom bit off. This can now go in the recycling, which is where it came from. Voila. And now we have a cardboard base. So what I'm going to do here is actually use this paper to line the inside of the card so we don't see all of this, because, you know, fancy cards have that paper inside, don't they? So I'm just going to lay this out, and then you can either draw around it or you can just hold it and cut together. It's entirely whatever's easiest for you. If you haven't got pencil, then just go straight in and cut. Right, so I've got a little bit of label there, but that doesn't matter because we're going to be sticking that side down. Okay, so we've got our card. We're going to put this inside. I want to make this just slightly smaller, so I'm just going to trim off a bit more there. Trim off that edge, and that is going to go inside. So just fold that in half. There's a bit of packaging tape there, that might come off. There we go. It looked like it wanted to come off. Right, so we're just going to fold that in half. Like so. There's a bit of a flap here, so I'm going to glue that down, and I'm going to put that on the, which side? This bit looks flatter to write on. There's a bit of a crease here, so I'm actually going to put it on this side. It's where we're going to write the message, but I think I'll stick that down. And then I was trying to find the center there. Yeah, we're just going to stick this in here like so. So you are going to need glue for this project. If you haven't got any, don't worry, I'm going to show you how to make your own. Very easy. You just need flour and water. But otherwise, you could use PVA glue, you could use a glue stick, or you could use an all-purpose glue. You don't want to be using super glue, but let me show you how to make this flour glue, because you've probably got flour in your cupboard at home. So you just want to take a spoon full of flour like so, pop that in a bowl. Ta-da! And then take some water, try and add the same amount of water to the flour, and then stir. As you can see, it's going to get quite thick. And you want to make sure it's not lumpy, that's the main thing. But a bit of flour, a bit of water, a little bit more water there just to make it a little thinner. So just keep adding a little bit at a time. Perfect. Try and get any lumps out if you can. Okay, this is quite a wet glue. So you want to use it sort of sparingly, because otherwise the paper will absorb it. But pop it on to the back of your paper like so. I'm not even being neat. You can use any brush, that's just an old paintbrush. And then pop that down like so. Let's do the other side. So you can use whatever glue you like to do this. Right, and what I'm going to do now is whilst that dries, see, because it is wet, it's gone a little bit crinkly, but that's okay. It's rustic, remember? Just going to fold this in half. So if you've got something heavy you can put on top, for example, a pile of old books, then just weight that down whilst that dries. And I'll show you what decorations we can put on top of your card. The first design I'm going to show you is using this corrugated paper, and I thought that this looks very much like a coffee cup. If you're not sure what I mean, let me show you. So this is quite a smooth surface, but this is lovely and corrugated, and I'm going to cut out a coffee cup shape that we can stick onto our card. Okay, so I'm going to cut out a coffee cup shape. Now we don't need to worry about the stickers, but what I can see is there's a crease here, so I'm just going to avoid that. So a coffee cup is about this. Now I'm just using a Sharpie so you can see what I'm doing on the screen, but you don't need to use a Sharpie. You can just use a pencil, or you can just go straight in with the scissors. This is my little coffee cup shape. Doesn't matter about the lines because you're not going to see them, because this is the back. And this is the front. So we've got a little coffee cup here. I'm going to put a little piece of paper. Now, you could either use a little bit of cardboard like that, plain. Should we do that? Yeah, let's do that. So I'm going to cut a little strip to go across. That's so you don't burn your hands, yeah? And I'm going to glue that on. Just need to make sure. Right, so I'm going to use the Pritt Stick because I happen to have one, but use your flour paste or whatever glue that you happen to have. So I'm just going to apply. Now this is going to be a bit more difficult because there's ridges, so just make sure you really get the glue in there. This is probably where PVA would be better actually, but anyway, glue, and then stick that on halfway. It's over the edge, don't worry, that's perfect. That's going to sit in there, lovely. And then if I turn it over, I can then cut off the little excess bits. And then we need a lid. And again, you could use a bit of brown paper, but I'm going to use that white envelope and just cut a bit of this off. Let's use this lip. Now this is already sticky, but we'll use some glue, and then we're going to put that across the top to make the lid of the cup. I actually want to make it slightly angled in the opposite direction. They're not quite even. That's better. And then we'll just stick that on. So now we have a little coffee cup, and you could put any message on here, but I'm thinking I'm thinking something like, I love you a latte, or you're my cup of tea, if your mum is a tea drinker, or whoever the recipient is. So I'm going to go with, I'm a coffee drinker. I love you a latte. I love you a lot. Yeah. Okay, now we can go and find our card that we've got here. As you can see, it has dried. It's a little bit flowery in places. And attach that to your card, and then you can write your message inside. So we can attach that with any glue. As I've got the glue stick, I'm going to use that. Oh no, let me use the paste. I feel like I need to show you that the paste works. So, although you can see it works here. And you get loads of this flower paste. There we are. There we are. And then you can just write your message inside. So we have card number 1. I love you a latte. Do you know what? I want to I feel like I want to round these corners off. I don't know if it's going to go right or not. I just want to I fancy trimming the corners so that they're more rounded. There we go. Quite like that with the rounded corners. If you've got a rounded corner punch, then by all means you could use that. Although this is quite thick, so just be careful because it might not work. And if you wanted to make it feel more like a luxury card, then if you've got some twine, you could add that onto here as well. And I just happen to have some, so I'm going to give that a go. Just going to wind this around just to make it look a little bit more sort of professional and rustic. But if you haven't got any, don't worry about it. Or if you've got a bit of ribbon, you could add it. So I'm just going to tie a little knot there. Loop that around. And I might go round again just to really make a bit of a feature of the string. I'll tie another knot and then I'll tie a little bow. I think that looks really cute and gives it a little bit more of a finished look. Let's turn this into a card. I'm just going to cut this bottom piece off where the fold is. First of all, let's do the top so we can open it up. Now you could get a good couple of cards out of this. In fact, I think I will. So I'm going to measure. Let's open that up. I'm going to measure this so it's a square this time. And I think I'm going to go 13. You can do any size you like. I'm going to go sort of halfway here. because I know I don't want it all the way down. 13. Oh, look at that. Wasn't bad, was it? I weren't far off. Okay, cut that out. We're going to turn it inside out. There we go. Or if it's a little bit wonky, you can always neaten it up. How have I done that wonky? Just neaten those ends up. There. Okay, so we can put some paper on the inside, or we could just use a bit more of the card. I think I'll do that actually. Oh, so if you've got any lumpy bits, remember to take these pieces off. I'm just going to glue stick. This is the quickest glue to use. So if you have got a glue stick, really helpful. Just going to put that there so that covers that bit up. I'm just going to trim this excess bit off. We don't need that bit. I'm going to show you how to make a beautiful heart to put on the front. Now, grab yourself a small plate. This is a side plate, and let's measure 16.5 centimetres. And then grab some of this paper packaging, and it's a bit creased, but that's okay. Draw around the plate, so you're going to make a circle, like so, and then we're just going to cut that out. And if you've got a piece of paper that's really big, get rid of the big stuff first, and it makes it so much easier for you. I don't know what's on the, oh, nothing's on the back really. There's a little barcode, but that's okay. I quite like the fact that you can tell it's recycled and made from something else. Now, you don't need to be neat with this at all. Cutting out circles is really difficult, so don't worry about that at all. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut off a couple of edges here. And because these creases are going this way, that will just make it easier for me. So I'm going to cut off an edge there and an edge there. This is just going to make it a bit easier to stick together. So what we're going to do now is we're going to do a little concertina. So that's fold forward. I should try and do it straight, would be helpful. Fold forward and then fold back on itself on that edge if you can. And this is about 1 centimetre thick. So this piece here is 1 centimetre. You're just going to go back and forth. You can press down nice and hard. That's great. Like so. Okay. Then you're going to fold it in half, like so. It's quite chunky down here, but that's okay. Give it a real good squeeze. That's it. Right, and then we're going to put some glue on these pieces here. Just this first, you just want to put glue on this first flap. Like that. And then squeeze that together. Wait for it. Open that out. And you have made a very cute heart. And now all you need to do is attach that to your card. You can do either side, whichever side you like the best. So here's the card. And then we're just going to pop that on the top there. Isn't that lovely? So try and get all the glue on all the ridges, but don't flatten it down. This is quite firm actually, so it's not too bad. And there we are. And then just leave that to dry. Ta-da! Here's the folded heart, and you could really use this for any occasion, couldn't you? A birthday, a thank you, Mother's Day, so Valentine's Day, of course. So I think it's just really cute. If you have red paper, then by all means use the red. It's really pretty. So for the final card, this is going to be for somebody who loves flowers, and we're going to actually make a flower pot using, like, that will be the base of the card. So I'm going to draw on the wrong side, roughly, that's sort of the top of the flower pot. So you've still got this join here, and then that's going to come down like that. Okay, that's about right. And then we'll cut this out. So we have a flower pot. Okay, so what we're going to do now is we can put another piece of card here. If we use a different colour card, if you happen to have some, that would be good. I think I might put some of that corrugated paper on there. I think I'll go in this direction this time. Just making it a bit neater. I've measured it up there so I can see where I need to attach it, and then I'm just going to stick that on. Let's use PVA glue. Why not? Oh, I put way too much on there. Do not put that much on. That's far too much. Okay, I need a glue spreader. Okay, don't put that much glue on. You really don't need that much glue. I'm going to put this back in the bottle. Okay, so less glue. Press that on there like that. But I think we need some flowers, don't we? So what I'm thinking is we could perhaps put a flower here and then you pull it up and there's a message. So we won't see inside. We won't open this card up at all, actually. Right, let's do that. I've got a flat piece of card here. That just needs to sit inside. I'm going to make it a bit thinner. It's a bit too thick. But big enough to write the message. And then on this piece, we're going to stick the flower itself. So what I'm going to do is put that down there and draw around it. And then we don't want to put glue anywhere near this area. We want to leave a bit of a gap so that it moves nice and easily. I'm going to use the Pritt Stick for this one. Just making sure I've left a gap, but we want to seal the bottom here. Go all the way around this piece. And make sure you've got lots of glue at the top there. But don't glue in this bit. We want that free. So we're going to make a little pocket. Right, I'm going to push that down. So once this has dried, we're going to put our stem in where we left the hole. There. So it's a little stiff, but that's what you want because you don't want it to just fling out. Now this is a bit too tall. We don't want all of that on show. So now we need to attach our flower here. And I'm going to use this old bit of envelope. And all you need to do is just cut out some little circles. If you've got coloured paper, by all means, use that. But I just want to show you how you can do it using any old scraps. You could use old magazine if you've got it. So I'm trying to make them roughly the same size. They could be slightly oblong. Is that the right word? Oval. They can be slightly oval. Oblong is a rectangle. Or more petal shaped, like this. It's entirely up to you. I'm trying to get as many as I can out of this piece of paper. And then you can just sort of lay them to see, like that. I think I prefer them with a rounded edge. I think I need one more. Like so. And then all we're going to do is take another circle of paper and turn that over. Put some glue on there and then stick each of the petals on. Now you might need to put a little bit of glue on the back where they overlap. Oh, isn't it cute? And you might have something like an old button or something like that that you can put in the centre, or you can just leave it like that. So leave that to dry. I'm just going to neaten that edge off there. Once this is dried, we're then going to attach it to the end of our cardboard. And on here, we're going to write our message. Apply the glue to the end of the cardboard rather than the flower, and that will just prevent you getting everything really sticky. Decide which way up you want it. To go like that. And just make sure you leave enough room so you can write your message. Happy Mother's Day. And then that will just go in there like that. And then you've got your little flower in a pot with your little message, and then you can write your message on the back. So I've just cut out a little circle because when you turn it over, it looks a little bit messy. So all I'm going to do is just pull that out and then put some glue on here and just fix that to the back just to tidy it up a bit. Not only does this make it look a little bit neater, but it also makes it a little bit stronger. And there we are, we've got your little flower. So say if you've got something you could put in the middle, maybe a pom-pom or a button that you've got, you can do that. And I think that's really, really cute. And then you can write on the back here your message. I've actually found this old piece from a Trivial Pursuit game. So I think I'm going to stick that in the middle there. To do that, I'm going to use the all-purpose glue. And if you're trying to attach a pom-pom, this glue might also be better for you. There we are. Ta-da! Look how cute this little flower is. Now, obviously, I'm showing you how to make these cards using recycled materials. But if you've got coloured card or paper, then you could certainly use a green stem here for the flower, and you could choose different colours for the petals. But this is just to give you a suggestion of what you could do with something simple that you've got at home. I would still use the Amazon packaging for the flower pot. I really hope you enjoyed this week's tutorial. I would love to know what you think. Let me know in the comments below. And if you liked it, then give us a thumbs up and do remember to subscribe. And I will see you here next time for some more crafty tutorials.